want to sew, but the right moment never seems to arrive. Life gets busy, there's always something else competing for your attention, and that project on your cutting table has been sitting there for weeks. For a long time, I thought that was a time problem. It turns out it's not. I'm Sarai, and after nearly 30 years of sewing, I've found a simple 5-part framework that helps me keep making progress even during the busiest seasons of life. Today, I'll show you how it works so you can finish more projects and spend less time wondering when you'll finally get back to sewing. You probably already know what I'm talking about. The big block of time you've been waiting for never quite arrives, but the 15 minutes before dinner, the 20 minutes while the laundry's running, those show up all the time, and you keep convincing yourself they don't count. Sound familiar? I know how this feels because this definitely used to be me. Marathon sewing sessions were my norm. I'd block out an entire Saturday, convinced I need hours and hours to make real progress. And that created 2 problems. The first was that I'd get tired and frustrated toward the end, but feel too invested to stop, which meant pushing through and making mistakes. The second was worse. I avoided sewing altogether unless I had a huge block of time available. And those days didn't come around very often. That half-finished project on your cutting table is not a time problem. It's a condition you've put on showing up. And that's exactly what this framework is going to fix. And if part of what's been holding you back is not knowing what to sew next, I have something that can help with that too. The Seamwork Wardrobe Planning Kit has everything you need to map out a realistic sewing season. A wardrobe planner plus practical guidance for making choices you'll actually want to sew and wear. You can download it for free using the link in the description. At some point I realized that instead of waiting for those elusive free days, I needed a different rule entirely. Now, when I find myself thinking I don't have enough time to sew, I ask myself one question: do I have 30 minutes? Because if I can find that much time, I know I can make progress, even if it's just a little bit. That's the 30-minute rule. And I'm going to share the 5 components that make this work. And I'll be honest, when I first started doing this, I was skeptical. 30 minutes felt almost too small to matter. But what I discovered was that something shifts when you stop waiting for the perfect conditions and just show up for the time you actually have. Instead of sew a dress, I started thinking attach the facing or hem the sleeves. And those small sessions started feeling genuinely satisfying. Not like a compromise, but like real progress. Because they were. What I didn't expect is how quickly it added up. Projects that had been sitting on my cutting table for weeks started moving, and the sewing itself felt more enjoyable because I wasn't dragging myself through marathon sessions when I'd rather be doing something else. I was just showing up for 30 minutes, finishing something specific, and walking away feeling good about it. That's what this framework made possible for me, and it can do the same for you. It sounds almost too simple, but the reason it actually works, the reason it doesn't just become another item on your to-do list to ignore, comes down to how you set it up. There are 5 components to this framework, and each one builds on the last. The first one is about making a decision. The last one is about proving to yourself it's working. And the 3 in the middle are what make the whole thing actually stick. You've probably told yourself you'll sew sometime this week, and then watch the week fill up around that intention until it's disappeared entirely. It's not that you didn't want to sew, it's that a vague plan doesn't survive contact with a busy week. Every other demand on your time has a slot, a deadline, something anchoring it in place. Sewing is just floating. That's why the first component is the commitment. Setting aside that time intentionally before the week starts so it has the same weight as everything else on your calendar. The session goes on the calendar before the week starts. Instead of sometime this week, give it a specific day and specific time. And here's the part that gives people a lot of relief. If life does get in the way, because it will, a 15-minute session still counts. The point isn't the clock. The point is that you showed up. You didn't skip it. You didn't wait for better conditions that didn't come. Even 15 minutes of actually sewing moves something forward, and that momentum matters more than you'd think. Now, one thing that makes short sessions possible is knowing exactly what you're going to work on when you sit down, which brings me to a tip that's made a real difference in how I start projects. Before you start a new project, write out every major step: cutting, applying interfacing, constructing the bodice, setting the sleeves, hemming. If your pattern instructions have a table of contents, just print that out. You now have a ready-made list of bite-sized tasks. You're not figuring out what comes next while you're already at your machine. You just look at the list and pick up where you left off. It sounds small, but it removes one of the most common reasons people stall. You know that feeling when you finally carve out some time to sew, you sit down at your machine, and then spend the next 15 minutes hunting for your pattern pieces, rethreading the bobbin, trying to remember where you left off. By the time you're actually ready to sew, half your session is gone. That's why the second component is about having your project ready to pick up before the session even starts. Think of it like meal prep for sewing. Instead of starting from scratch every time you want to cook, you've got the ingredients already waiting. Instead of starting from scratch every time you sit down, prep your projects in advance. Pattern pieces cut, interfacing applied, everything ready to go. Dedicate one cutting day to prep 2 or 3 projects at once, so when you sit down to sew, you step straight into it. No setup, no hunting for pattern pieces. The session starts the moment you sit down. This prep work is non-negotiable because setup time will eat your whole session live before you realize it. A 30-minute block where you spend the first 12 minutes finding your pattern piece and rethreading your machine isn't really 30 minutes of sewing. It's 12 minutes of frustration followed by 18 minutes of sewing. Protect the time by removing every obstacle that comes before the actual work. 30 minutes goes fast. And if you're spending the first 10 of them tracking down your scissors, moving things around to get to your iron, or digging through a pile to find the right thread, the session is already working against you before you've sewn a single stitch. That's why the third component is about having your space ready before you sit down, not after. I try to tidy up between projects, putting everything back in its place so the next time I walk in, I'm not starting with a scavenger hunt. Tools have a home, the machine is already threaded, the iron is out. When things don't have a specific spot, setup time becomes sewing time, and your session shrinks before you've even started. I know not everyone has a dedicated sewing room where everything stays set up all the time, but even if you're working at a kitchen table, you can have a basket or a tray where everything for your current project lives together, ready to go. This is the one most people skip, and it's the one that makes everything else work. Before you walk away from your machine, take 3 minutes to leave everything in a state you can walk back into. Change your presser foot to whatever you'll need next, position your fabric under the needle, and write down the next step. You're not cleaning up, you're cueing the next session so you can sit down and go. What we're trying to avoid is that moment you probably already know too well. Coming back to your project after a few days, staring at where you left off, and not quite remembering what comes next. That friction, small as it seems, is often enough to make you decide to come back later. And by the way, that wardrobe planner I mentioned, it pairs really well with this kind of session-based sewing because it helps you choose projects that are realistic for the time you actually have. If you haven't grabbed it yet, the link is in the description. Here's something that might surprise you. Consistent small progress adds up faster than sporadic marathon sessions, not just in terms of hours, but in how sewing actually feels. You're not dragging yourself through hours of it when you'd rather be doing something else. Each small session feels satisfying because you completed something specific. And that feeling only compounds if you can see it happening. That's what tracking is for. When you put a check mark on your printed list every time you finish a step, something shifts. You start to see the sessions accumulating into something real. The project that felt impossible to finish in stolen fragments becomes a project that's actually moving. And the next time that voice shows up and says 15 minutes isn't worth it, you have proof that it was wrong. The check marks are your counter argument. I actually just used this framework to sew my fern blouse for my summer capsule. I was amazed by how much I accomplished in a single week of 30-minute sessions. Let me know in the comments if you want to see how that went, because I'm thinking about making a follow-up video showing exactly what a week of this system looks like in practice. Now that you have a system for making time, the next thing worth looking at is how to use that time as efficiently as possible, because there's a real difference between sewing for 30 minutes and getting the most out of sewing for 30 minutes. If you want to know how to cut your sewing time in half without cutting corners, watch this video next.